Okay, you gotta make a whole mountain with your fingers.
Sashi
Pugi Joshin Metok Tram Rira Bingshi Nyende Gebadi Sangye Shindu Mikde Uwargi Jokun Nanda Shingla Chuparsho Ilam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamyayatayami
Sangye
Chedan Soki Chonamla Chanju Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chenyen Gipe Sunamki Rola Penshir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chedan Soki Chonamla Chanju Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chenyen Gipe Sunamki Yola Penshir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chedam Soki Chognamla Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chenyen Gipe Sunamki Yola Penshir Sangye Druparsho. Not too cold?
It's wonderful.
You all right?
Good.
You like it like it is?
I really do, but
Okay.
I understand that I'm not in charge.
You okay shopping?
Yeah, I'm wearing more clothes.
I have an extra coat out there if you want. There's another one. If you want it, you can take it. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oops.
Scriptorium.
Tissue shirt.
Yeah.
No expostulation?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
We got to do more of this plus.
Style.
Style sheet. Back to the style sheet. Let's see.
Better not be sarcastic.
No, I'm not being serious. I really want to know.
All right. This is serious, dude.
Probably already know most of it.
I think I'm sarcastic. I'm sarcastic so much in life that people just think I'm always.
What do you mean by that exactly, dude? Oh, you're sarcastic, are you?
All right then. I still gotta clean my computer off somehow.
I'll have a little bit of time today where.
Yeah, let's see. I'm crazy. So 20 people just signed up to talk to me,
She's got a Google
which is
Drive.
pretty optimistical.
Also,
Yeah.
also farm things locally,
All right.
like Dropbox, right? It's like that.
One. I'll take a look at that then. That might be it. There's different options. There's different things. There's this cool program called Grand Perspective that you can put on it. It tells you everything.
Sure.
And then you can.
Like Winder stat,
Grand Perspective.
if you like it.
Okay. So footnote number and 12-point linotype. Okay, that's this number here. Okay. No space.
That's not 12-point little type.
Huh?
That number you showed is about
It is.
6-point.
No. I mean, that's a foot. See,
Superscript.
that's Palatino 12-point. But it's the superscript number. Yeah, that's correct. No space between footnotes. I mean, I wrote everything here. I don't want to repeat
Well,
it.
no,
But
it should be clear then because I changed everything in another one to be 12-point.
it is 12-point. Look,
It's
that's a 12.
selected.
It's a 12-point superscript.
Okay, so maybe add superscript so it's clear. Because I changed all the footnotes for something I edited for the to 12-point because of that. Thanks.
Okay.
Just run this first.
No space between footnotes. Okay, see how these footnotes are? Hey, tune in or take a trip. Alright. No space between the footnotes. No, you're going to give me some text that's not done this way and I'm going to get upset. Footnote with sexy few words. Yeah, choose a few sexy words right here, right? This should have been, okay. And then it has the, okay, it has a colon, right? Okay. Foreign names, words, authors, places in closest, normal, English pronunciation, unless you're making a point about the spelling. So if he's going to have today, or he had yesterday, Kapilas and Kapilas, and Sankhya's and Sankhyas, and the difference hinged on a long A and a short A. So for that he has to show the transcription. But normally, you know, just give things. That's going to be a feature of the. So I didn't say here Nagarjuna. Okay. So we're trying to make this series of books readable by normal people. You put the heavy stuff in the back. You see, if you go here, this is my. This is all unlegible, unreadable. This is to impress the scholars. Okay. This is in normal Sanskrit diacritics. Okay, so you have to learn how to do that. But if I put this in a footnote, it's just going to be Manjushri with nothing hanging on it. Okay, got it?
Geshla, is there a place to learn how to do that? Is there a place that will show us how to do that?
Yeah, there's charts online.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I know his style, your style.
Oh, that's
All of your books have been done that way already.
yeah.
All the 8 books have been done that way already. They're in the Dropbox. The first term stuff is finished correctly. Your own book is already finished. You should be able to learn from your own book what I did.
The bibliography.
That's why I gave you the first one for free.
I can help.
Question.
What is adjunct Sanskrit?
That means she's going to go try to find the Sanskrit. This is... yeah.
Good. I'll add that to all of mine also.
And the Tibetan is Wiley, right?
Isn't it?
No, the Tibetan is ACIP. Well, you're right. It's ACIP, but it's capitals, and it's not all capital letters, as you can see. And
Has hyphen.
you group the words with a hyphen.
Yeah.
You do that for people.
Is there a schema for that too?
No, you'll just have to learn it.
Is that library?
I mean, okay, look, the second line here, starting with you, in ACIP, it would have been, you see? But that doesn't look good in a book, and people aren't used to it, okay? So, and people are gonna say, why you have 2 standards, and you're gonna say,
Because.
just because.
Because we have 2 understandings.
See, here's the ACIP input standard. Say input standard.
Input standard.
Easiest way to type it quickly. Yesterday afternoon, we found a book on TBRC, a scan, that has words text with interspersed explanation, every single word. Okay. Then we sent it yesterday evening to India for input. We got it back this morning. Okay. So how can you do that? They don't stop and hold down command keys and capital S and hit the D and to get this weird thing. They just type straight. They just type straight in a row. Nothing's on top of anything. You see? Everything's next to everything. That's much faster for input code. So this is in input code. This is a Tibetan Sanskrit dictionary in input code. And then this is diacritics, okay? This is how it's done. This is what you do in a book, okay? But you don't want to search this, you see what I mean? And you don't want to type it. So there's an input code, and what are you going to call the other thing? Transcription, okay, for the public to look at. We deal with these capital letter books, like Seiji's book, you know? We deal with this. But we don't show that to the public. You see what I mean? For the public, it looks like this. For scholars, inside the book, pronunciation. Easiest, closest pronunciation. Elena downstairs is from Moskva. Her city's name is named Moskva. But we say Moscow. So you put Moscow. You don't introduce her and say she's from Moskva. Then everybody's like, what? You know? Okay, so in the book, easiest possible pronunciation, unless you're making a point about the spelling. Unless you're trying to explain something about the spelling, you know, that's interesting to people. Oh, this text, when I looked it up in the Tengyur, it's spelled differently. You know, then you use this transcription, Tibetan transcription, and you group the words together. Now, there's a danger to that. Watch. I'm here, okay? By the way, this asterisk, just for your information, means I recreated the Sanskrit name from the Tibetan. We don't know the Sanskrit name. It means I took a guess. It's kind of an honesty thing. And because people will use our stuff as reference books. They'll say, I don't know where he got it, but Geshe-la said Ratnadasa. And I want them to know that I don't know what I'm doing. Okay? Now look, if I look up Yunten in the normal way, watch this Yunten on the second line, okay? If I look it up normally, Yontan, it'll miss it. Why? There was a hyphen between it. So when you're trying to look up stuff in your own bibliography, don't forget the hyphens, okay? So, you know. And then there's a very difficult decisions about what do you call a person. Do you call him Jetson Kappa? Do you call him Lobsan Drapa? Do you call him Tsongkapa? And what we do is we put titles in parentheses. You know, this is master scribe. You know, because, and then we, in the end, we will alphabetize by name, not by title. So Yeshe Gyaltsen, who is the teacher of your person, he's the very, very famous of your person, teacher of your person. Chichen Tembarabge. This is his teacher, and this is his most famous book. So sometimes people call him Sechon Ling, and sometimes people call him Yongten, but his monk name is Yeshe Gyaltsen. You see, so if you choose one, and you stay the same, you try to stay the same. TBRC is very strong. Gene Smith was very strong in people's alternate names. He had a fixation about it. He kept huge card boxes full of names, you know. Then he kept them on a database called Ask Sam. He kept them in a proprietary database. They went out of business. He lost everything. He had to start over. Okay? And there was unbelievable tragedy, you know, after 20 years or something, he had to start over. He couldn't open anything. And so that's why that's why we keep base database in a ASCII format. ASCII means these are the letters that all computers use. Doesn't matter, PC, Mac, and we keep stuff in the folders. That's like future proofing. You know, and then we're working on a relational database, which is, you know, depends on a certain company's product. But that's dangerous. You have to have someone who can keep changing it every time the company changes their database. So we try to protect the data as closely as we can. The whole database is in the letters that every computer uses. And the database structure is kept in the file structure that every computer uses. That still can change, but it will change slower than people's programs, okay? Microsoft could go out of business and, you think Microsoft will be forever. That's what they thought about Chevrolet or GM, It was number one stock in America, called blue chip. My family owned some of their block of their stock, and then suddenly, oops.
Two things, just for clarification. Even the transcription for Tibetan stays in italics, like for titles.
For titles, yeah.
Okay.
In English, when you have a title, or a name of a play, or a name of a magazine, or a name of a television show, or a name of a movie, you italicize it in writing. Okay, so
Same for Tibetan.
That one
Same in
doesn't
Tibetan
have
and
that
Sanskrit.
close.
this one here, right?
Yeah. Sanskrit also, right? All languages were italicized.
Here, right?
Yes. I think elsewhere you've done it on the other side of the comma.
You're right. And that's another point, but I'm not going there today. Okay.
Okay, so is there a
yeah.
written standard of the way that you like to write Tibetan pronunciation? I mean, it's in my head from all
Yeah,
the-
I wrote I think check.
the
I wrote a book of standards.
When we were doing
I'm pretty
Translator.
sure
It's a ACIP release 4,
okay.
and it's
I'll
this thick.
Well, I think it's in the.
There's a PDF.
I think there's a PDF of it in the database already, in the Dropbox already. But if there's not, I'll make sure.
And I covered
Yeah, that
I covered almost every possible thing. Okay. Or you can watch the video.
Yeah.
There's videos on how to do Tibetan pronunciation.
Yeah.
And I'm very picky about it. It irritates the hell out of me. If someone in this room mixes up transcription and pronunciation, I'll wring your neck. Okay? Because everybody does that. And that, to me, it reflects that their mind is not logical. So then whenever they translate, I'm suspicious of it. You see what I mean? If you can't see the difference between diacritical marks and pronunciation, or if you mix them in the same word, then there's something wrong with your mind, basically. Seriously, it
Yeah.
means you can't see a basic problem, a very serious basic problem, and almost everybody does it. I think almost everybody who translates does it. To me, it just means there's something wrong with your perceptual capacity. It's different. They're two different things, Anyway, and then I start to doubt the person's ability to translate. You see what I mean? Because if they don't notice that, what do they don't notice about the translation? You see what I mean? Okay. So closest English pronunciation. And you'll make mistakes, and I'll correct them. Like Munlam, prayer, and what?
Okay, sorry.
And what?
M-U-N. That's how you
Yeah,
write it.
M-U-N.
Yeah.
You don't see, no Tibetan says Monlam.
Right.
They say Munlam. So everyone misspells it. So it's not the pronunciation. They're mixing up the transcription with the pronunciation. It just, okay.
Third column ka is a K.
No, and everything's like Thanka,
Yeah.
Tibetan Thanka.
Yeah,
You know.
Parchin, right.
That the TH is to indicate second column.
Yeah.
It's not the sound. You don't say Thanka, and everyone does it, and no one thinks it's strange. No one notices it. You see, it's amazing. Anyway, so
We have to pick.
Sangka,
Sangka.
Song Kaha Book. Song Kaha Book. First column, second column, first column. Okay, it's crazy. It's just wrong. You see what I mean? You writing the transcription for ka, and then you write the sorry, you write the pronunciation for the tsa and the pa. Okay, it's crazy. It's just crazy, you know. Anyway, okay, it means the lack of viveka, right? Okay. Where is technical discussion? Yeah, if you're making a point about the spelling, then do the transcription. Okay, and there's probably some footnote I could show you where hopefully I did that. I don't know. So this is the translation that you guys are stopping. So don't feel bad. Yeah, here. Okay. Here's a technical word where there was a difference between the two chokes. Okay, and I'll give. See, I didn't say. I'm referring to the Tibetan language thing. You see what I mean? So they can see the difference in the spelling. It's a spelling thing, but otherwise use the pronunciation. Okay.
You're referring to the two chalks, you mean?
Two chokes, yeah.
They're supposed to
Sub.
They're the same though.
Yeah, they are. I'm trying to show the difference between the two. You see what I mean? I'm trying to show the difference between two technical terms.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a typical. So in the style sheet, you have an example of a footnote, and I chose a long footnote. Okay. So here I didn't say Arya. I didn't say Kanda Kirti. You see, it's just normal. And here it's just pronunciation. It's not prasana. You see, but here there's a question about the spelling in Tibetan. Okay, it's between sik and sik s, and it's an explanation of why it's wrong to call this famous commentary by Chandakirti clear words. It's not. The spelling is s. See, so I have to show the transcription, and people's for the last few hundred years have misspelled it, and all Western scholars mistranslated it because they just didn't notice this. You see what I mean? So, okay. Then I give where I got it from. You see what I mean? Okay. And this percentage sign. Someone tell me why there's a percentage sign there.
Because it's
It's a
not
placeholder.
a definite place in the
It's
bibliography
a
yet.
placeholder until.
Yeah, it's a placeholder. Later it's going to change.
Yeah.
When I finish the book, I will reorder all the bibliography entries into alphabetical order. Okay? We won't finish today. We have 4 more minutes, right? And it's good to talk about this. I guess I should have all along. I like BC and AD. I don't like Common Era. And, I'm sorry, I'm old-fashioned. I think BC has a meaning.
Are those 10 point?
I know.
No, those are small.
Anno Domini. Anno Domini. Anyway, say again?
It's a glyph.
Small caps is a.
Small caps. Here's how you get to small caps. Okay, you have 500 AD. You see? Sorry. You type small letters. You block these two. You go to format. You go to font. You go to small caps, and you hit OK.
There you go.
Okay. And if you don't get out of the small caps, everything you type, then you have to get out of the small caps. So after the D, you have to go to format again to the font, and you have to turn off the small caps. Okay.
And make sure you use lowercase letters, otherwise
Yeah.
it'll just be.
If you use caps, it's going to come out caps. What you can do is keep a BC and an AD somewhere in your document and just cut and paste. Okay, it's cheaper. It's easier. Then I divide my bibliographies into 4 sections. Books originally written in Sanskrit, Kangyur Tengyur, and a few books like your Sankhya Karikas. And then books originally written in Tibetan, I've added the Chinese, although I don't use it much, but you guys will use it more. And then books originally written in English or French or Spanish or German or okay.
Any order to those?
Alphabetical, English alphabetical order. Is that correct? Yeah, I think that's correct. We'll talk about it.
And when you alphabetize the authors' names of the Tibetan and Sanskrit authors, that's English alphabetical order also.
I was afraid you're going to ask me that.
I'm afraid of the answer.
No, I think I use Tibetan.
Okay.
You can check the Three Principal Paths book.
Okay.
These are all standards that I invented in the Three Principal Paths book.
Yeah, if we're
And-
using like diacritics and the transliteration, we should put it in the
Native language,
native
alphabetical
language.
order.
Yeah.
So
I don't
Sanskrit-
remember what I did. I think it's correct. I think that's correct. Yeah.
And we agree on
When it's in transliteration, it should be in the native alphabetical order.
Okay.
Otherwise, it gets really weird.
When it's in transliteration, but not when it, okay, I
Yeah.
see. We were talking about the opposite yesterday.
You have footnotes at the end, I think.
Right.
Oh, I don't have the bibliography there. It was taken out, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was taken out.
We had said the opposite for Sanskrit yesterday, but
Yeah, I know.
okay.
I don't know. I'll have to check, but I think it's native alphabetical order. Because
Okay.
otherwise
Otherwise, we'd have a problem with.
otherwise it's weird, yeah. Until the translation is completely finished, you can't put the bibliography in order. And these numbers will change, and it's a big job because Tsongkhapa is going to have 300-400 references, and I'll have to go back and change all of them. Okay. Tibetan and Sanskrit transcription. That I can't. You just have to go study it in the samples I gave you. Everybody's book, 8 books, have already been done this way. So go look in your own book, okay?
The thing that confuses me the most is when you capitalize and when you
Well,
don't.
it's root letters of.
Yeah.
No, not always.
There is it is.
it's
I
not.
believe it's consistent, but you go look. Oh,
Oh, it's not. Look at cell right there, where your cursor is.
Uh-huh.
no, I'll tell you what.
It's just the beginning of the whole.
This is a new title starting. You see, so that's tricky. That you have to know Tibetan very well. Okay, this is the descriptive title. This is the poetic title. They're different. It's 2 titles. It's a title and a subtitle. So I capitalize both of them. Okay, and this is a commentary. This is the title of a commentary on this title and subtitle. So there's 3. There's a logic to it. It's just confusing. Okay.
And so in names, it's only the first name that's capitalized. Not
Yeah,
the
personal
second.
names. Yeah.
Okay.
This is his title. This is his personal name. But that's a good point, Utpala. It's hard to learn.
Yeah.
This is difficult to learn. I capitalize it to help the reader. Derge, first D, Tengir, first T. It's logical. It's difficult.
Once you know it. Yeah.
You have to know the native language very well.
Oh yeah, it's time to start the text.
Look at the Lodra. Do you have the?
Oh no.
This is sick because
Oh,
they
sure
put the
is.
umlaut over the R. Sick means I know it's wrong, but that's the way they have it. They put the umlaut over the R. The people who printed it, it's their Tibetan library.
Oh, so you
Oh,
want to be
that's right, yeah.
consistent because that's where you have the book.
Well, if you look it up in the Library of Congress and you put the umlaut over the O, you won't find it.
You right.
You see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's weird.
Oh my God, there's an umlaut over the
Can
H.
the reader understand what
I think
does
it's on the R.
SIC mean?
Look again.
I'm sorry, what?
How can the reader understand what does it mean?
Everybody knows sick. In English writing, it means I know it's a mistake,
Uh-huh.
but that's the way they have it.
Yeah.
It's usually it's meant to show how smart you are.
Uh-huh.
Okay, like I know it's wrong, but I didn't do it.
Right. I reproduced
Okay,
faithfully.
and then when you read a book and there's a sick in it, It's like a game. You have to figure out what's wrong. You know, oh, he said it's wrong, but there's two problems here. They put the umlaut over the H and over the R.
Oh God.
And it was hard to get my
So
computer to do it.
Yeah, I bet.
You know,
Sounds like an illustrator.
and it was irritating to me because I edited this book. You know, and
So Sikh is Latin for just as it is. Just
and it was correct when it left our press,
Oh, really?
and they changed it.
Wow.
You know, so that's
That's
recommendations to
demented.
do that.
yeah,
Umlaut and consonants.
yeah.
I didn't know that
When
was
you
a-
say you added the book, what did you do to the book? What usually do you do to add?
This is my Lama,
Right.
Ken Rinpoche. Later, his name was Ken Rinpoche, but he wasn't Ken Rinpoche yet in 1979. And he did a book with a friend of mine, my enemy. And usually they would throw it at me and say, fix it. You know, so then I'd have to fix it. Fix the English. Yeah.
He's American.
Grammar.
He grew up in South America.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where?
His father was a banana executive
Oh, really?
for
Chiquita?
like
Double?
Chiquita or somebody like that. Yeah. His Spanish is super fluent.
Art?
Yeah. And he learned Tibetan in like 2 weeks. So something going on there.
Yeah.
When he used to get angry, he would curse in Tibetan words, and Rinpoche said, "Where you learn that?" And he'd say, "I don't know."
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And his Sanskrit is even better. I hate to say it. Okay, so I'm going to put a marker here, and we'll go back to it some other day. We're about to hit my pet peeve, right? This failure calls into question the content and correctness of the translation itself. Because it reveals a big
Especially like us, crankiest.
No, it's correct. It's true. No, it's just true. It's like proving your wife is illogical. Not that it's going to help you.
Probably
Not that they're
worse.
going to change. Not that my wife,
Right.
of course.
Right.
Somebody else's.
Or some logical deity watching in the sky.
Okay, let's go to a more interesting text. I feel strongly about standards. ACIP Release 4 is a book of standards. The 1,000 Books of Wisdom. Is it here?
It's here.
Yeah, you want to read, that's standards, okay? That now the whole book is not standards, okay? It's a long bibliography in there. There's 1,000 books and names in there. But the first half of the book is standards. This is what my standards are. The trick of standards is what?
Sticking to that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you decide, but stick to it.
Yeah.
Be consistent. You see? Like, make standards and then stick to them. That's a standard, okay? You don't have to agree with my standard, but my standard is standard. Okay? It's always the same. I always do the same thing. You can say you don't like H or you do like H, but I do it every time. That's a standard. So the worst thing is if you have a standard that you don't stick to it, and you keep changing inside your standard, you know. So it's any standard's okay, but make it standard for God's sake. Okay, got it.
It's in the Dropbox.
And have a logic for your standard. Be able to explain to somebody why my standard is like this. Okay.
There's a really nice essay in that book
What's the essay about?
about the 5 books and how you flying around.
Oh, so in there I wrote an essay for having the database stored as a computer game,
Oh.
and the database would be stored in a. You would take on an avatar when you enter the catalog. When you enter the database, you put an avatar on, like you're a bird, and then the database corresponds to the 5 boroughs of New York City. So the 5 great subjects of the Geshe course. Guess where Tantra is?
Brooklyn.
It's Brooklyn. And these are the parts of New York City. Brooklyn's where all the crazy people live. Used to be. Bronx, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, Manhattan is the famous part of New York. So that's Middle Way. And then you fly to a building like Jetson Kappa's Gomborov cell, and each chapter is a different floor. And then you go in, and the avatar looks at the wall and says, "I want to know what Baba Viveka said about the validity of a mistaken consciousness establishing a mistake." You know, and then gopher will be incorporated into the walls, and it will bring up what you want, you see. So I wrote this essay about, what do you call that?
Virtual reality.
Virtual reality database. And I still think it'd be cool. Then a guy from Doubleday, the Pope's editor from Doubleday saw the essay.
That's the guy that.
And he asked me to write a book, and I wrote the Diamond Cutter. But he saw that essay, and that's why he called me.
Oh,
You know.
wow.
So anyway, okay. And that started DCI.
It's in there.